Is Gen Z absolutely cooked? Listen, I'm a pretty optimistic person. And when I read the news and I look at all the data, I usually have a general optimistic view of the future because I believe in free will. I believe that God made us as individuals. But when I start to read multiple articles, the data is just too alarming. So the first story that's like a little bit eye-raising is the percentage of Gen Z males that have zero desire to ever be married or in a long-term committed relationship. It's almost 50%. And when you put this all together and you realize that globally, most developed nations are now at below replacement rates when it comes to their birth rates. So that means that they're not having enough children to be able to support the current people alive. Now you might say, well, pump the brakes. We have robotics and AI that is exponentially growing. And that brings me to my second story. A study found that around 33% of Gen Zers in the United States either had a friendship or had developed a relationship with an AI chatbot. Yeah, that's wild. Because like I said, we're going to need robotics to fill the gap between labor if people aren't having enough children. Otherwise, everyone, I guess, just fends for themselves. But when you kind of couple that together, you're like, okay, so Gen Zers, obviously, they love technology, same with Gen Alpha, and they're having these friendships and relationships with AI chatbots. And you might say, okay, it's kind of weird, I don't get it. But then you get to the third story. Some journalists at The Atlantic, and I say journalists very loosely because The Atlantic is a news media organization, it's hot trash. They have basically zero journalistic ethic, and everything they produce is mostly left wing. But when it comes to things that are non-political in nature, they actually do a pretty decent job. Well, a couple of journalists decided to have a conversation with ChatGPT, and they wanted to find out if I express interest in something like demonic worship, what will ChatGPT tell me? Well, it turns out ChatGPT told them, here's the ways that you can make ritualistic cuts and you can offer blood sacrifices to Moloch. Yeah, Moloch, the demon. Now there's one last story that does give me a sliver of hope. And that's that Gen Z males are more interested in turning to Christianity than ever before. And I think that can only ever end positively. Now, I'm a Christian. I do believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he came, he sacrificed himself for all of us, for humanity. And honestly, I think you're gonna see something like a spiritual revolution sweep across this country. That's my sliver of hope.